What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another special live edition of Smack Talk presented by SmarkOutMoment.com here on Mega Powers Radio. This is the WWE Payback 2016 pay-per-view post-show. We're going to be recapping our thoughts on the event, giving our opinions about what just transpired, all that other kind of stuff like that. And before we get started, let me introduce you the panel that's going to be talking tonight. I am your host, Tony Mango. Joining me on the call, Mike Payton is on the soundboard.
Hey!
Oh, it was almost the exact same time. Would have been great. We also have Kaylin Ferris.
What's happening, everybody?
And Steven Wago.
Shut up.
Okay, that's it, guys. No post show.
Sweet.
We also are going to be checking what you guys have to say in the live chat here on Mixler, so we'll toss out a couple things that you guys say here and again if anything stands out to us. Shout outs to the people that are in the chat right now. AP Styles, Undertaker 123, first 122 or better. Nora Lang.
Hold on. I have to correct you on something. It's not AP Styles. It's AP Styles.
Actually, why haven't we jumped on that yet?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's why I'm catching us up. That's you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, the next step is we need to give him a nickname, like we gave with like Morris Primo and Bobby Lesnar and so
Okay,
forth.
I got it. PP Styles.
PP. Wait, no, it's got to be PP Styles. We have Norlang, Declan, Lucha Underground fans, Silo of the Doom, Ben Guest 1, Guest 5, Wazili, Peter Piccinini, JT Parent. I don't remember coming across you before. If you're a new person to the team, awesome. Thanks for joining us. We got Dane Quinn. We have two others elsewhere joining us. Hop on over to mixler.com/megapowersradio. Join in on the fun for the chat while we're doing this.
I mean, shit, you don't even need to make an account. Just log in with Facebook. It's easy. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, to elsewhere. Unless your username is to elsewhere. And then it's a different story. But let's get into this with the pre-show of the night. We're going to kick off with a match that actually was not announced ahead of time as being part of the pre-show, but they decided to just, switch it up a little bit, put that there, and it actually made a little bit of sense. And, at first it kind of took me a little bit by surprise, but I'm glad it was on there, which was Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Ziggler won the match via pinfall. He had a roll-up kind of out of nowhere. And, of course, Baron Corbin looks a little upset afterward, as would anybody. But what do you guys think about this match? Did you enjoy it? You like the outcome? Wago, I'm going to start off with you. What do you think?
So I thought it was a solid match, but it did tell us a few things about Baron Corbin. Some positive, some negative. Negative is that he still needs to learn to wrestle as a heel and wrestle as a big man. He spends too much time trying to interact with the crowd due to him not knowing what he wants to do in the ring. He kind of looks lost at some points. But he is doing a lot of old school heel stuff, like choking people in the ropes. So there was some definite improvement from him. We keep saying that every time we see him, he's doing something new. As far as the decision goes, if it was me booking, which it's not, I would have put Baron Corbin over. But it was still a solid match. Babyface won in the opener. It was what it was.
AP Styles, in the chat, bringing up that he hated Corbin's tights. I actually kind of liked it. What do you guys think?
Don't know, but his entrance was on point.
I wouldn't wear them all the time.
Oh, especially not after he's done with them.
I like his tights better than his tattoos. Not a fan.
Better than his hairline.
True.
Peyton, what do you think about the first match of the pre-show?
I think it's a shame that Dolph Ziggler won this match. This is the biggest tragedy since Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental title.
That was
nowhere near that level.
Ago.
Yeah, I know. But, wrestling fans, they're dramatic.
Yeah. I'm never watching again.
Yeah. But it does not really make any sense. What the hell does Dolph Ziggler get out of this? Unless they're setting him up for, a mid-card title feud or something. But even then, what the fuck? You really couldn't let Baron Corbin beat Dolph Ziggler on the pre-show to Payback?
I have a theory that the reason why this was moved to the pre-show was because Ziggler won.
But he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have. I mean, in my opinion, I think that Ziggler should have lost this match for sure. But
the main thing that confuses me about it is that a babyface went over in the next pre-show match, so did you really have to do it this way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll talk about our disappointment for that in a minute, too, because that was sad. Kaylin, are you on board with the Ziggler win, or are you in the same field that we're in where he shouldn't have won. It should have been Baron Corbin's night.
Well, I'm kind of split on that. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I like that Corbin was dominant through 90% of it. As far as the decision to have Ziggler win, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of split on it. In a way, I'm glad that Corbin's not being built up as this unstoppable force as much, like, because when they build guys up and they never lose, and then they finally have that brick wall, which is usually Cena or somebody, then it's all downhill from there. With him, we're not having to worry about that now on the main roster. I know he lost at NXT, but on the main roster, this is his first major loss. So getting it out of the way now kind of works, but I also would have liked to have seen it continue for at least a couple more weeks. I think it could have gone to Extreme Rules at least. So Ziggler going over this time, I'm not in favor of, but at least it gets his loss out of the way so we're not hung up on an undefeated streak.
Well, it still could continue to Extreme Rules. I mean, it doesn't have like the most momentum in the world going for it, but it hasn't stopped him in the past.
The undefeated streak.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Ziggler win the other match that they had on Raw? Didn't he win with a roll-up for that one too?
Yeah, he won with a roll-up, yeah.
So that's twice doing the same thing here, and that's my biggest issue with it, because I don't mind Ziggler winning a match with a roll-up, because it's kind of like a cheap victory, but he shouldn't have won twice. Like, Corbin...
What are you talking about? That's Dolph Ziggler's most effective finisher.
But, I mean, the idea of having him beat Corbin twice, it's like you're treading on the ground that you already paved.
Which week did Ziggler beat Corbin? Was that this week? Or last week?
No, it was the night after WrestleMania, I think. Or no, wasn't that? Was it? Wait, was it that?
No, I don't think Corbin was on that night.
That was a count out, wasn't it?
No, he beat him with a roll up, and it was the second week after WrestleMania, I believe.
Okay.
Peter Piccinini says double count out before. So I mean, either way, I mean it still kind of told the same story of Dolph being able to get out of it without losing to Corbin. And Corbin should have had some kind of a decisive win. I mean, if they do continue to do Extreme Rules, it has to go to Corbin. There's no debate about it. Corbin has to win that match. If not, what's the point of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal win? But, I mean, we'll see. They can piggyback off of this tomorrow night with Raw. Maybe they do drag it out a little bit more. Maybe they don't. I mean, we'll see when it comes to that. But we brought it up. Babyface winning that match. Babyface wins the next match. Kalisto retains against Ryback. And, I mean, we all sort of wanted Ryback to just go into this, whoop the hell out of Kalisto, win that belt, and that to be it. Didn't get it. And I got a feeling during this, and we were talking about this when we were watching it, Ryback seemed like he kind of was having fun, which is either they told him that he's going to get a push soon and he's like happy, or he does not give a shit anymore.
The first thing he did when he came out there was do the CM Punk it's clobbering time shtick.
That was so good. It's feeding time.
I cracked up at that. That was great.
I didn't notice it, but somebody pointed out, I think it might have been Dane, that his belt said pre-show stopper.
Yes, the pre-show stopper.
That's fucking
I was just going to
funny.
bring that up. Thought that was great. I was wondering if they cleared that or if he just kind of did that without telling anybody.
I think he's legit pissed off and he's just
lashing out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I can see that being the case.
I think that's the reason he lost too.
As like another humbling thing, like, dude, you can't talk shit about that. We're going to put you on the card and you're going to lose again on the pre-show, you motherfucker, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if they keep Adam Rose around just to treat him like shit some more. Then again, I don't know how he gets any lower.
I think you guys are falling right into what they want you to think.
Good.
Ryback is going on a losing streak right now, and mark my words, he's going to go through this losing streak, and he's going to get a big push sometime this year.
You mean like the last time that went somewhere?
He'll get a big push for that 1 week.
You watch.
Off a cliff.
If someone mark this tape, and I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to play this just like I did for all those other times I called shit.
You mean that one time you did?
Yeah, all those other times.
See, I thought a couple weeks ago Ryback was going to be built towards something with Roman Reigns, but the way that they've been treating Roman Reigns lately, and then the way that they didn't even utilize Ryback at all after WrestleMania, that made me just go, you know what? I don't see that being the case. It could happen. I mean, they could always rehab anybody for the most part.
Anyway, there's one thing that I want to say about this match. This was a good fucking match.
It was a pretty entertaining match.
Yeah, like putting aside all the bullshit of are they against him, are they aren't. This match was just very good. It's the match that should have happened at Mania. It actually had an audience, which is a great start. The gorilla press slam off the middle rope, that was pretty sweet. I got no complaints about the match itself other than the finish. Like, the match itself was solid.
Side note, I thought about this while watching the pay-per-view. Does anybody know if the gorilla press slam is named after Gorilla Monsoon? Or is it just like a coincidence?
No, I think the gorilla press is just named after
The gorilla.
yeah, like the animal. Like it's like
Yeah.
you're showing great force like a gorilla.
It's named after after the newspaper, the Gorilla Press.
When I've seen it, it's not capitalized. So I think if it was after Gorilla Monsoon, they'd capitalize it.
Yeah, that's true. That's just one of those things I was just like, I wonder if. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Wago here. This was an entertaining match. There was that one flip that Kalisto did where we were like, "Oh shit!" He almost got fucked up. Of course,
Yeah, he was
the
first injury we almost talked about.
Yeah. But I liked Ryback on the top rope. That was cool. Seeing him toss Kalisto, then do that frog splash.
Big man gets some hype.
Yeah, like I'd like to see him do stuff like that a little bit more often. I mean, don't start pulling out shooting star presses and shit. Unless you can do it. If you could do it, then that'd be fucking amazing. But
Don't do it unless you can do it.
yeah, don't pull a Brock Lesnar. Peyton, any other thoughts about Kalisto and Ryback? Do you think that this helped the United States Championship look any better?
In its own little world, yes. On the long term, again, we have to see. But if they end up doing the same thing they did with WrestleMania, where they have Kalisto get this win over someone he definitely shouldn't have, and do nothing with it, then who the fuck cares?
Thumbs up or thumbs down, Kalen?
I give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed the match. I think both guys put on a really good performance. As far as whether it elevates the title, I'm not really sure. I mean, where the hell do they go from here? If they're going to do something with it, then I think you got to get it off Kalisto in the meantime, because I don't think he's the one to really push it to that next level. So I was hoping it was going to be Ryback to do it, but we'll see where they go from here.
We just mentioned a minute ago that it seemed like Kalisto was going to get injured. Biggest story of the night by far. We had our number one contender tournament final for the WWE Tag Team Championship, the Vaudevillains against Enzo and Cass. New Day comes out, they cut a promo. Nothing really memorable about it. Anything stand out to you guys about the promo?
I enjoyed it.
Hey Arnold stuff. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're flexing like Arnold. More like, hey, Arnold.
I thought that was so bad. I loved it, but I hated it too.
Jono were cracking up so hard at the Stoop Kid references. I fucking loved every moment of that promo. It just made what happened even worse.
Yeah, it's like you start off and it's like you got some chuckles and whatever, and real soon into this match, Enzo gets thrown to the ropes. There's some kind of a slip up. He gets caught up a little bit in it and just smacks his head on the canvas. Out immediately. The more that they showed it, the more I kind of went back and forth between like, oh, that looks really bad, and actually it might not be as bad as it's making it out to be, and oh, but you know what, that one part, and it was uncomfortable immediately afterward when he fell, because he flopped down, and you could tell he was out cold.
See, Cole said he hit his head twice. He hit his head 3 times. He hit it once on the middle rope, once on the bottom rope, and once on the floor on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is when you see it in slow-mo, there's this one frame where he's going back and you just see his eyeballs roll into the back of his head, and I'm like, oh gosh, that's when I knew it was real bad.
Yeah, well, I looked at John and went, damn, Enzo's got a real good sell. Oh, wait.
Well, of course, most people were going like, oh, is this just a fucking work and whatever, but you could tell pretty quickly.
Yeah,
everybody
was one of those
stopped.
where right away I was like, oh no, I think he's really injured. And then, of course, a lot of people, oh, he's just selling. But I was like, no, this really looks legit.
Well, you know what it is? It's especially bad taste because in this very same tag team tournament, they had Kalisto feign a neck injury during a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like bad karma.
Well, there's a quick way to know when somebody's legitimately injured or not. If they throw the X up, and as soon as the referee did that, John was like, oh, I think he's really injured. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, they have thrown the X up before to kind of mess with us.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're not like willy-nilly about that. They don't throw it out all the time.
When I saw Big Cass just standing there, just sort of staring, not knowing what to do, I was like, okay, this is real.
Mhm.
This is legit.
Well,
And the Vaudevillains not doing anything to kind of like eat up some time.
Yeah,
Or,
they did
like,
continue to
you
fight.
know.
Cass wasn't in there brawling with either of the Vaudevillains, so I knew
Like,
something was
I
up.
don't
New
remember
Day
what-
stopped being silly. Like,
Right.
New Day just, like, put down their popcorn or whatever else they were playing with and just were like, oh, shit.
Mhm. Everybody just stopped and they were just kind of like, no, this is real.
Well, I don't remember which one it was, but one of them tried to pick him up, and then the ref's like, no, dude, he's like legitimately out. Stop.
Which a lot of people ran straight to, this must be a neck injury. Some people were actually even going, oh my God, he seems like he's dead. And it's like, whoa, relax a little bit. More than likely, he just has a concussion. A little bit later on, we got some updates. They said that he was talking, he was able to move around a little bit. Then they confirmed pretty much that it was a concussion. Now, we still don't know if anything further is going to be developed. I mean, we don't know the severity of the concussion. We don't know if anything else is on top of that. He could have ended up having, some kind of a strain in something at the same time. He could have landed weird and he messed up something with his neck too. It could be one of those concussions where, he's relatively okay pretty soon, or it could be a career-ending concussion.
My first thoughts were a neck injury, and that's why I was cringing because, well, when they came back and they said that he's able to move his extremities, he's able to talk to the EMTs, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because paralysis, man, I was so worried that was going to be like one of our first memories of this pay-per-view is Enzo Amore getting paralyzed, and that was
Fucking Draws 2.0.
And you know what is even worse when it comes to this? They just advertised that this is the beginning of a brand new era. First match on the pay-per-view that starts a brand new era. Doesn't go 3 minutes into it.
I
Somebody
hope
gets, possibly career-ending injury.
Yeah.
I hope
Damn.
he doesn't fall out of favor because of this, because shit happens. It sucks that it was televised. It sucks that it was on a pay-per-view. It sucks that it was under the circumstances it was. But at the end of the day, shit happens, and he's one of the most talented guys on the mic that they have.
And well, that being said, I also don't want to see a backlash on Simon Gotch for this.
No, yeah. I mean,
Because that was nothing on him.
this
No,
was a fluke.
Yeah, in the playbacks, I was looking to see if he had maybe done something wrong, some kind of misstep or something, but it didn't look like that at all to me. So I'm going to assume that he probably feels like shit already anyway. Because when you're out there, you're putting your life in the other guy's hands, and if somebody gets injured while you're working with them, I would feel like shit.
I can't imagine there really being any kind of negative stuff. Like,
No, not from backstage. I'm saying more from the fans' point. Because you know how they like to point
yes, I hope not. Because, I mean, you could tell that this wasn't an issue of, like, Simon Gotch didn't go for a dangerous move and landed weird on Enzo and fucked him up. Or, like, he wasn't responsible for catching Enzo and didn't. It just was this weird thing that ended up happening. I mean, you slip a little bit. And
Yeah, it was entirely Enzo. He went with a lot of momentum and just didn't get low enough. Simple as.
Right.
And you know what made this even more scary? And someone in the chat brought it up. I don't know if it was AP Styles or Guest 5. AP Styles, there it is. Brought up the Perro Aguayo incident.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very, very similar to this.
And it was
guy
very,
going
very
into the ropes, breaking
very
his neck
recent too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, obviously, it doesn't seem like it's the case, but nothing like, we don't find out that things are worse or whatever. But there is one thing that's it's not like a silver lining, because there is no silver lining when it comes to this, but one kind of like thing that makes it a little bit easier to handle. Enzo's biggest asset is his mic skills. Worst case scenario, if he is in a situation where he can't wrestle anymore, they don't want to take the risk with the concussion stuff, dude would be a killer manager.
Well, we've also
Absolutely.
Like I think Mike's always been an advocate more that he should be a manager. He always said that the money's in Cassady, and that's potentially the case.
Cassady.
Yeah, it seems weird to call him Cassady,
I
doesn't it?
know. I couldn't remember his name. I'm like,
It's Colin. It's Colin.
Although that seems weird to just call him Colin,
I can
too.
call him Colin. Big Cass is the only right way to say it.
Right?
Can they just get rid of his Colin Cassady name totally?
I think they are going to do that.
The only thing that's weird is then you've got Big E and Big Cass. Can we just call Big E?
And Silent Wonder Doom points out, and Big Show.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, it's the Big Cass. Also known as Colin. Very underwhelming. But yeah, I mean, like, it would suck if we don't get Enzo and Cass as a tag team anymore. It would suck if they don't get their rightful tag team championship run, because they never even got it with NXT, which is just bullshit. But, you know, he still could be pairing up with Cassady when it comes to just being a manager. And there's no way that they look at a situation like this and they don't go, well, that guy's still good as a manager. They wouldn't be like, well, sucks, pal. Here's your pink slip. Like, you know. So we're going to find out more about this over the next 24 hours. We're going to find out a hell of a lot more over the next couple weeks. And it's looking a little bit better than what originally people said, but, you know, who knows? I'm assuming that the Vaudevillains were going to win this match anyway, so it might not change their actual plans for that, but it does change the plans for the Dudley Boys, because they were clearly going to have some Dudley Boys and Enzo and Cass thing. That's not the end of the world. They'll get around it. They'll figure something else out. But do you guys think that this is going to be a situation where this maybe changes the tag title plans too? Like, or was the Vaudevillains versus New Day just the plan to go with anyway?
I think it means they should bring up Dash and Dawson and play their music extra loud.
Just bring up their music.
Actually, I'm okay with that too.
My thought was that the Dudleys were going to come out and end up interfering and end up screwing Enzo and Cass, and Vaudevillains were going to go over and go on for the titles, which would lead to a program continuing between Enzo and Cass and the Dudleys. So I think this just kind of puts that on hold for now.
So technically, shouldn't the Vaudevillains be declared the winners of that match? Because only one team was unable to continue.
We'll have to see what they say tomorrow.
I would assume tomorrow night they come out and they say that they're the rightful number one contenders.
Because to be quite honest, no contest is horseshit. One team lost.
Yeah. But they're going to have to figure out a way to do that without seeming like jerks. Because there's one thing
they
to have,
are
like,
jerks.
They are heels,
Yeah,
so
they're
they
heels.
can say, like, well, you know, they didn't win, we won, we're, you know, whatever. But they can't make any kind of, like, anti-Enzo things without sort of, I don't know,
I'll
being
tell
a
you
little
what.
testy.
At least they came across as heels tonight. They actually got booed. It was nice. They got a reaction.
You think it was because it was Chicago?
It could have been a more amped up crowd, but I also think that they may be just more familiar with their work. It's a smarter city,
Well,
as they call them.
Chicago only knows a few chants. This is awesome. Boo and CM Punk.
You know, they brought that out later on. But, you know, the worst thing when you're talking about placement on a card, it sucks to be the bathroom break, but god damn does it suck to follow up something like this, where the opening match doesn't really get started, you got an injury of somebody that people love, but credit to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they pulled it out, man.
That's what I was thinking immediately after the whole Enzo injury. I was thinking, who is going to have to go out there after this and sort of revive the crowd? I think this was the perfect match to do it.
Really good match from start to finish, I think. I thought that the right man won. I know that I kind of thought that Sami Zayn was going to win, but Kevin Owens is the bigger guy. He's the bigger star. He's obviously the physically bigger guy. And he's got a track record of beating Sami Zayn, so I'm down with the win. What are you going to say, Wigo?
He's fat.
You got to say that like Steiner if you're going to say that.
Effort. He puts too much effort into it.
Not as much in his restaurant, I bet. Peyton, your thoughts on Zayn and Owens?
It was an excellent match. I think they really held back a lot, though, and I think that's because they are planning to have a lot of matches. But, you know, we saw this match already, so it wasn't that special.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the whole, like, wow, man, I can't wait to see how these two work together. Like you said, we've seen it 4 times?
I mean, if you're counting all the excellent matches they had in Ring of Honor, they've wrestled exactly 12 or 13 times, depending on whether you count the triple threat where Kevin Steen was wearing the shoulder pads. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Well, I am only counting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, not Kevin Steen and El Generico.
I'm very happy that they're going to be feuding with Claudio Castagnoli in the future for the IC title.
And Mike Mizanin.
Jesus. Fucking Smarks.
It's easily one of my favorite jokes of the year.
After the match, we I was talking when Jim says now Ferris has to do the Vic voice.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll do it. Don't worry.
Now you know what to ask the plugs for.
After the match, Kevin Owens gets Byron Saxton to come into the ring so he can cut a promo about how now that he's gotten Sami Zayn out of the way, he's going to regain that Intercontinental Championship. And there was a collective groan from all of us that were watching it in the basement. We're all like, oh, you're so much better than this. But a little bit later on, about a minute or so later, he's like, I'm going to join the commentary table for the next match, the Intercontinental Championship match. Miz against Cesaro. And Kevin Owens having fun doing, picking on Cole, picking on Saxton and company. And I loved when he tried to say, my celebratory victory or whatever I was trying to say right here.
Yes, that was great. Owens' commentary during that match made it 1,000 times better than it would have been without it.
All he was doing is telling people to shut up every time they tried to have an opinion who wasn't JBL.
That's great. He does it so well, though.
He shut down Michael Cole so badly so many times. I'm like, damn, can you be out here all the time?
And he gave JBL credit. He's like, it's really hard to keep this hat on with this headset. I don't know how you do it.
He looks awesome in that hat, by the way.
Sami Zayn comes out to just attack Kevin Owens after the match, and it looks like we're building towards a fatal four-way at Extreme Rules between these four.
Wow, you mean it actually looks like they're building to a multi-man match?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's not just a...
pull the trigger now, it'll be like a bunch of singles matches.
Mm-hmm.
This is when they do a better job building towards it, instead of just me saying for 2 months, they're doing it, and then they go, yeah, maybe we will.
So
but yeah...
tag titles will be defended in a Fatal 4 tag-way match at WrestleMania?
Yeah, mark my words. WrestleMania 33. Somebody mark this one too for that. It'll happen. But the match itself, I assume it was a no contest because Kevin Owens interfered. We actually had a glitch with our network right at the time this ended. So did they clarify like a disqualification winner, or was it another no contest?
Which one? The IC title match?
Yeah.
The Miz one.
It was a pinfall.
Yeah, Miz.
Oh, it was a pinfall?
Yeah, Miz rolled up with
Roll up.
face.
Yeah, he had
Miz won, that's all that matters.
Yeah, Cesaro had the Miz in the crossface. He was tapping out, but the ref was distracted by Owens and Sami Zayn. He knocked them off the apron, and then he got rolled up.
Huh. Yeah, totally missed that at all.
And it was the perfect way for Miz to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a beatable champion, which is okay, as long as they do it right.
And I like that the ref was distracted, but it wasn't Maurice doing the distraction.
She did a good job pulling Miz away from the damage, though, later on.
Yeah, that was cool. By the way, Miz's entrance. I don't know what the choreography with him and Maurice was. That was all over the place. They gotta fix that.
Yeah, she seemed to be out there for like 15 seconds before he came out and did anything.
She was just floating around, like, doing weird shit, and then the Miz showed up like, what the fuck are you two doing?
She's been a little off. Like, she hasn't gotten back into the swing of things yet. But she'll find it.
That's what Cesaro's for.
I think they're also supposed to kind of be like that. They're supposed to just be like flaunting and be like, ooh, look at me. Ah, I'm hot.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. And Miz is too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Say yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of, as much as I didn't like the idea that Kevin Owens was going to be sticking around the IC title, I'm down for this being a fatal four-way at Extreme Rules. And then after that, we can move on, because the pay-per-view after that, Money in the Bank.
I heard a couple people groaning about the IC title thing for Owens, and I'm kind of like, well, what the fuck else is he going to do? Main event picture's taken up.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho's feuding with Ambrose probably still. You want him to feud with fucking, I don't know, like Kalisto? That'll be shit.
Yeah, there really aren't many people that he could go with. I mean, the Wyatt family, they're out with injuries. The League of Nations, they're heels. So,
like, if I had... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, the Wyatt family were absent, but they were all over the poster for Payback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were supposed to be a big part of this, right? That whole League of Nations thing, that got screwed over.
Because I was like, let's just split these guys up. Where the fuck were they tonight?
They weren't a part of it at all. I don't think they even did like a backstage interview or anything, did they?
The Wyatts?
Or League of Nations. I mean, the League of Nations split up, but
They were at the catering table.
Yeah, but like none of them really did anything tonight, did they? I don't remember any of them.
They'll all wrestle on Raw tomorrow.
And lose again.
Probably.
Hope so.
One of them will job out to like Kalisto or something.
But they're not officially the League of Nations anymore, though.
No, now they just fucking suck.
Well, Rusev tweeted out something where he was just kind of like, I don't need these guys anymore. Fuck you all. So, I mean, they're not like a team, period, anymore.
He's actually the only guy out of that team that I give a shit about.
I don't give a shit about all three of them.
I would say that. Rusev, of the three, is the one I care about the most. But even that's not that much.
Mm-hmm.
Our next match on the card was Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, and thankfully, Dean Ambrose comes out with the win here. We all kind of were like, he really needs to start winning some fucking matches. And he did. Got the dirty deeds and got a pinfall victory. Jericho kind of came up pretty soon after that, started flipping out and throwing some shit when it came to the commentary table, which, by the way, we have all the commentary people back again. All the Portugal and Japan, all like representatives from all those countries again. You think this is sticking around?
Whatever. I don't know, but what happened to the other 10 German commentators?
Yeah.
They got released with Kyle Edwards and Rich Brennan, I guess.
I guess. Oh, what the fuck was up with that?
But I do like that they seem to be every time now cutting away when Funaki's talking. I don't know if this is a running gag or it's just like something that they messed up twice. Funaki starts talking and it's just kind of like, and there's our fucking commentator.
Well, maybe if he wouldn't have flubbed his lines, they wouldn't have turned away so fast.
Can't be any worse than Yoshitatsu.
Ugh.
Yes.
Well, at least Funaki talks. He might not say anything fantastic. He might be dubbed over or something like that, but God, that, you want to give somebody the worst commentator of the year award, it's going to be Yoshitatsu for that.
So you've taken that move before. How does it feel?
Yes.
Yes. Not good. Hey, Yoshi, you want to elaborate on what that means in Japanese? No. Thanks, pal. There's your paycheck. But yeah, we had Jericho and Ambrose. Kalen, you on the positive side of this?
I am. I enjoyed the match. I am very happy that Dean Ambrose ended up picking up the win on this because he desperately needed it. There's no reason Jericho needed to go over in this. So seeing Ambrose win is very positive in my book, and I'm excited to see what he's moving on to next. I hope they keep doing the Ambrose Asylum segment also. I like that.
Dane says, I love how Rusev said he's in a league of his own. I don't remember him in that movie. I thought it was Gina Davis.
No, it was Tom Hanks.
There's no crying in WWE.
It's just on Monday Night Raw, they're going to be like, well, we need to kill some time, like, because we really had this whole tag team thing scheduled or whatever. Rusev, we're just going to film you pissing for a while.
Yo, speaking, like, you know how there's always those weird celebrities that just shock you when they're a wrestling fan? Did you know that Tom Hanks is a wrestling fan?
Yeah, that's kind of a shock.
Like,
That is.
Never would have seen that coming.
Really curious who his favorite would be.
Damien Sandow.
You think?
Yeah, I bet he's a huge Damien Sandow fan. He's probably really pissed off that he doesn't get pushed. I bet you he's on a wrestling forum right now about it.
You know what? I don't know why this stands out to me, because I have nothing to back it up with. I could see him being somebody who really used to like Jake the Snake.
Oh, totally. He probably grew up watching Jake the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was like 30 by the time Jake the Snake was wrestling, right?
No, I mean, Jake the Snake was wrestling in the 80s, and he
How old's Tom Hanks?
he had his first movies in the late 80s, like Big and what was the other one?
Tom Hanks is 59.
Splash.
I like Ben Guest's comment. Tony, yeah, that's kind of a shock with no emotion at all.
Yes. Surprising.
Care to
Thanks, Yoshi.
elaborate?
No. Taking my notes today from Yoshitatsu.
Actually, I think that's how I'm gonna like no sell your dumb questions from now on.
Too bad. Peyton, your thoughts on Ambrose versus Jericho?
Another fantastic match. I don't know if I have anything to have wrong with it. I mean, I like the way that the match ended, where Ambrose was slowly trying to get the dirty deeds in, and Jericho just was like, no, and then just dropped right into it.
No. I said no. Why did you do that?
That was a great spot.
It was a great way to end the match. And I think this is finality on the feud, too. I don't think these guys need to have another match.
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind it. I just don't think they need to.
I wouldn't be too shocked if it's the end of it, but I'm hoping that they still have another.
Yeah, but there's an Extreme Rules pay-per-view coming up. They can do something on a pole. I
Yeah.
love something on a pole. Actually, I hate those matches.
What would that something be, though?
The rights to have their show
Ooh,
on Raw.
ooh, a plant.
Yes, the plant makes sense.
Putting plant on a pole. I love it.
It would have to be on one of those, what do they call those things? Those hooks.
No, I got a great idea, okay? What we do is we're going to take the potted plant and we're going to put it inside a mailbox. Bro, it's going to be great. But here's the thing. On we're going to have 3 other mailboxes there. Every other mailbox is going to be filled with pricker bushes, bro.
One of them's going to have a Venus flytrap. Book it, Russo.
Can we just have one of those Face or Fire matches and Zack Ryder's the only competitor and all the contracts say fire?
What do you think about that, Peter? You're in the chat. What should our response to Wago be about that? What was our next match of the card? We had the Women's Championship. Charlotte, accompanied by Ric Flair, against Natalya, accompanied by Bret Hart.
Yeah, boy, didn't he seem excited to be there?
Holy shit, man.
I hate my life 4 out of 10.
I was hoping, he's cut some interviews recently where he said he doesn't really want to come to Payback and he's only there for Natty and whatever, but I hope that by the time he got to the arena, he'd get a little excited. You know, He's going to be out in front of thousands of people.
Do you know who the fuck you're talking about here?
Yeah, but I still just thought, wow. He really just, he comes out late. I don't know if they were supposed to be trying to build that up as oh, guys, he's coming. Because if they did, he was just kind of yeah, I'm here. What? What do you want? Looked like he was in rough shape. I know that he just dealt with the whole cancer thing, so I'm not expecting him to look like $1 million, but no emotion at all. The match itself, of course, was another thing where it was we know that Charlotte's going to retain. Natalya has no shot. Wago, I think, brought this up on our predictions. We've already seen this gimmick between them before, so that wasn't anything special. Ric Flair, we're tired of his shit. And the worst thing of it all, why did they have to do this Montreal Screwjob thing?
Oh, that made me just shake my head.
I laughed. I thought that was the best part about this.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Then again, I wasn't around for the rest of it, so I can't say much.
So, it's not in Montreal. It's not Survivor Series. And the Flairs had nothing to do with the fucking Montreal Screwjob. There's no connection to this whatsoever other than, hey, Brett was in that thing we did that one time. Do that again?
There is an actual connection here. Blondie, referee, he was always helping Flair back in other matches and shit.
I think you guys are missing the whole thing here. Brett came into this being as mopey as he possibly fucking could. So WWE says, well, how can we stick this to Brett the best way? Let's remind him of the most painful memory he's ever experienced. Okay? This was fucking amazing. This was one of the best things they've ever done with the women's division.
Do you think the next time somebody interviews him, they're going to be like, so what did you think about that match that Natalya had? Oh, they raped her in the ring.
See, the chat remembers Little Nate. Little Nate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I didn't love the match, didn't watch it.
What were you doing during this, Wago?
Took a shit, pet a cat, pet the second cat, and I pet the third cat. You never guess what I did afterwards.
Pet the fourth cat?
No, I pet the dog. Then I pet the fourth cat. And then I made some ramen. It was pretty eventful.
Ramen Reigns? What kind of ramen?
Chicken.
Chicken.
Hey, that's my gimmick. Stop fringing.
Let's see. Next up, we had the McMahon family saga. The whole idea of who's going to run Monday Night Raw. Is it going to be Stephanie McMahon? Is it going to be Shane McMahon? Or is it going to be CM Punk? Because that's what the fucking crowd wanted. With Vince, you could tell he was just kind of all right, fine. Then he gets to the point where he's like, that's all you got? Then it's just you guys are fucking pissing me off.
So do you think the original plan was for this to go on for 40 minutes like it did?
Oh, was it really 40 minutes?
I don't know. I felt like it.
I would be surprised. They'd zoned out of this twice.
You know what? I gotta think that it probably was.
Nah, 20 minutes maybe?
I'm exaggerating, but
they drag these out a while.
Yeah,
Anytime that they put a promo on the card, they drag it out.
It was You know what? I don't think it would have been bad if it was shorter. It was just too long. Also, fuck Chicago.
See, I didn't really have too much of an issue with the promo. My main thing with it was it didn't really do anything. Like, we started this off as Shane and Stephanie are at odds. They want control over Raw, and Vince McMahon hasn't made a decision. This ended with, I'm going to make a non-decision where the two of you are going to be at odds.
That's not true at all. He made a decision.
It's a non-decision.
It is a decision. The decision is that they have to run it together concurrently. They're going to have to sit at a desk together and work out every decision with each other.
This is a
As
stall.
opposed to before. No, because they'd never been there together. Stephanie was there and she wasn't there doing, like, while Shane was doing his thing. So now it's going to be them having to do it together.
It's
now
like
it's
the
like
odd couple.
Yeah, like Shane had his time. Stephanie was the time before that. Now they have to be together as the McMahon family running the show.
I think this segment could have happened on Raw, personally, and you could have still got the same result in the main event.
You could have, but it's the fucking McMahons. Like, they're going to be, they're a pay-per-view quality family.
You know what made this feel even more like Monday Night Raw? The fact that they went to the Monday Night Raw theme and then went to a commercial. So it's like, that's the end of that segment. Tonight is the night. All right, now we're going to talk about Camp WWE.
But,
all right, well, you know, as Smack Talk, it's not Smack Talk, as Monday Night Raw rolls on, you going to say that next? Somebody going to go to the outside of the ring?
I think we can all say here that we're just happy that it wasn't a brand split announcement.
Yeah, that's one good thing.
I'm just going to say this. If you're still advocating for a brand split, you're still a fucking idiot.
Norlang bringing it up. Stephanie looked so good tonight. Like, even better than WrestleMania, I would say.
Actually, John had the first thing she said when she saw Stephanie is, damn, she's hot in those pants.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, she picks the right time to do that now that we have that Sexiest Superstars tournament coming up.
Yeah, she just went up a few notches.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm going like, man, you know what? Depending on who she ends up going up against in that first round, Stephanie could end up getting my vote. Like, she could end up going kind of far. It all depends on the placement, which go ahead, vote for that, everybody. If you haven't already, the qualifying round is going to end over the next couple of days. So, do that. But, yeah, we don't want this brand split. At least we don't. I know some people do. And this at least stalls it a little bit. I'm still assuming this is going to just lead to Triple H versus Shane at SummerSlam. And something's going to go down at Money in the Bank. Extreme Rules, maybe something goes down. I don't know. But that's sort of like secondary compared to Money in the Bank. So we'll see about that. Tomorrow night's Raw. That'll be the first indicator. Oh, well, I mean, we did get an indicator a little bit later on. But tomorrow night we're going to see a lot of back and forth, I think. And we'll see how much legs this has. So last up on the card was 3 matches, kind of. Our WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns defended against AJ Styles. First up, AJ Styles won via countout. Shane McMahon comes out, says, nah, bullshit, we're going to restart the match. Roman Reigns ends up getting a disqualification against him. AJ Styles wins that, still doesn't win the title. So Stephanie comes out to say, no. This is going to be a no disqualification match. And everybody who knows anything about wrestling went, okay, so how long before Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come out? And then it was, all right, well, how long before the Usos come out? And then, all right, well, how long before he hits that spear? But I'll give
it was still good, though.
I was just going to say, I'll still give him credit. You know what? I didn't like it with the count out. But by the end of this whole segment, I enjoyed it. Match was pretty good.
I was just going to say the same thing. If it would have ended at that first count out and that was it, I would have thought the match was terrible.
Nah, I would have taken it.
The fact that it was restarted twice, I thought it just kept getting better and better. And towards the end, I was really, really excited because my involvement, my excitation for it was ramping up throughout the whole thing from the beginning to the end. And towards the end, I was just wondering what the hell was going to happen. And Roman Reigns retained, which we all knew he would. But I thought it was a really, really good match.
Peyton, what do you think about this? I know that you've got your feelings about Styles and Roman Reigns. You're supportive of both of them, whatever, but did the right man win?
Absolutely, the right man won. There's no reason for AJ Styles to get that title. We're seeing a very, very long Roman Reigns run at this point. They already juggled that title off him too much. At this point, he needs to take that title, and he needs to hold that to at least Survivor Series, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to have a good long reign with that. This match, though, holy shit, this match was awesome. This was just fun. Like, it was, there's no other way to say it. This was one of the most fun matches to watch in a long time. These guys both showed that they were main event caliber, and that's a compliment to both of them. Wago was going on about how this proves AJ Styles has ascended himself, but you know what? All the hate that Roman Reigns gets lately too, he should get credit for having a kick-ass match like this as well. So kudos to both of those guys. I think we got the right amount of tease of what's happening with Anderson and Gallows. Like, I knew we weren't going to get a full debut tonight, especially we weren't getting Balor Club or anything like that.
No.
What they're doing, I don't know. I am happy to see that Luke Gallows is wearing pants. I believe we discussed this on one of the shows where, like, his shorts look weird on him.
I didn't
They should
notice
just
that.
put pants on him. Yeah, he was wearing long pants tonight.
I think they were just like track pants. I don't think they were actually wrestling gear.
They were just like track pants, but that's fine. They were good.
I'll have to go back and check that out eventually. But yeah, I mean,
I thought their involvement was just the right amount. They didn't overdo it.
Definitely. No one overstayed their welcome. The match was just solid.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if you meant like what you think the countout should have been. The countout actually is perfect there, because I mean, if you saw the chat that we had going on in Mega Maniacs, people were going insane after that happened. Except for Wago, he was happy, but everyone else was like, "Bullshit! I can't believe this is going down like this." And then when everyone's upset and everyone's mad, here comes our hero Shane McMahon to save the day.
you're gonna say here comes the money.
I love the chat. The chat was all, what the fuck? And I'm just like, AJ Styles went clean.
Well, exactly. I totally suspended disbelief, and I was getting upset about it. And then Shane came out and saved the day, and I got happy again. So they were playing me. I loved it.
Yeah, this was all fantastically done.
See, I had thought, my first reaction is, really, a fucking count out? You can't end like that. Somebody needs to start something back up, because we still have a lot of time. And when Shane McMahon came out, I was thinking, okay, are we going to get like the very first thing where he and Stephanie butt heads, and she's going to be like, you can't restart the match or whatever, and that's going to be a distraction, and then Reigns is just going to spear him and win? That would have pissed me off.
This is an example of when WWE does overbooking, they do it right. Like, they're not as well. Then again, they've done some terrible ones too, but
sometimes they can do it right.
But they're very rare about overbooking compared to the Attitude Era, and they're a lot better about it now. And tonight was just a great example of it. It also shows that you can have a match like Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, which is all about the in-ring action, which is great. But there's also time for this sports entertainment stuff. People like to shut on the one and love the other, but there's room for both in the wrestling world, and it's great that we have a mix of both going on in the company right now.
It's a hybrid. I mean, that's what the whole thing's about. So there's people that are like, oh, they should only be fucking technical wrestling. Well, that gets boring as fuck after a while.
A little bit.
Ben Guest says, Styles won clean twice. 2 out of 3 falls. Styles new champ. On board with that idea, Waco?
I'm always on board for anything that Styles wins. And also, AJ Styles back-to-back main events. Suck at internet forums that I were on when I was 13 years old.
Well, the elephant that's not in the room when it comes to this is Finn Balor. And I think we all might be on the same page with this, too, that we're glad that Finn Balor didn't come up.
Elephants don't have fins.
I don't know, maybe he'll come out as an elephant.
I'll be quite honest. During this match, and this is probably props to them doing such a good job, I fucking totally forgot he existed.
Like, period, or just as far as this feud?
Like, not one point during this match, there was not one point where I went, I wonder if Finn's going to interfere. Totally not in my head at all.
Yeah,
that's
same
the fans jumping to a conclusion.
Yeah, same for me, but just because I was pretty sure it wasn't happening anyway.
It was in the back of my head, but I wasn't disappointed that it didn't happen.
If they wouldn't have already built towards the idea of another match with Samoa Joe, would have been a different story, I think. But then again, that's also a stretch, too, because it's like Finn Balor would have to turn heel, come up to the main roster, leave an open space on NXT. It's just a lot.
So, wondering, where do you rank this as far as Reigns matches goes? Best, second best?
I don't really know. I'd probably have to think.
Because I've always held his best match as that Brock Lesnar one, but this is fucking up there.
I would put it as 2. I would put it as 2, just actually barely above his match with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan was good. I always liked the Lesnar one. But then again, it was WrestleMania.
Kalen, you got a ranking for that?
It's hard to say.
Thanks,
He says it's
Yoshi.
number one.
Yes.
And our last thing that we ended up getting for this pay-per-view was just another tease of the Shane and Stephanie rivalry that's going to be happening, and confirmation that we're going to get Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles again at Extreme Rules. Did they say if it's a specific match, or did they just say an Extreme Rules match?
Extreme Rules match.
They did say Extreme Rules match.
It's not going to be an intense debate, battle royal brawl, or whatever we joked about the other night. What was that joke?
I don't know, but you fucking buried it already.
The point is, give it something cooler. Make it like a Falls Count Anywhere or something.
It's going to be a Newark street fight.
Was this like the correct way to end the show? Like, it was weird.
It felt like the end of a Monday Night Raw episode. To me, a little bit.
I would have rather just fucking confetti come down and everyone booed Roman Reigns.
They should
Just
do that
for
every
every
time.
title defense.
Yes.
Oh, I'm totally
Like,
down with that.
I would
Even
love
if he
it.
loses by count out, and still you're champion.
He's become the perfect heel by trying to be the perfect babyface, and he should continue doing it because it works so goddamn well.
The best villains don't think that they're villains.
I'm going to defend this backstage segment, though, because what they're building here is they're trying to establish what the relationship between Shane and Steph is going to be, trying to work together. And, you know, that's what you were saying. They didn't make a decision. There's no progress in this going, and here it is right in front of you. They're showing that Stephanie is fake playing along, that she's going to be agreeing and work easily with Shane. But we know that's not really how it's going to be.
No, it ain't. You're not going to get one over on us. You're smart.
Exactly.
With those smart marks. Smart out moment. Looking at the whole pay-per-view, it's your high point and low point, Kalen.
My high point, I would say, is I was going to go with the main event, but I'm going to go with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I really like that match. I'm looking forward to see how this continues. Low point, definitely the Enzo injury. How can you go with anything else?
Yeah, you know what? For that matter, we're all going to say the low point is that. So what's your low point outside of that? Because there's really no low point worse than that, right?
The unexcited Bret Hart appearance and the half-hearted sharpshooter that he did.
The half-hearted.
If you can call it that. Yeah, there you go. Double. Yeah.
I wouldn't even give it a 4 out of 10. Fuck him.
Way to go, your high point, low point?
So, my high point has to be AJ Styles beating Roman Reigns twice and then wrestling main events back to back. So, it's going to be pretty fucking sweet to be an AJ Styles fan this year. As far as the bad goes, I was going to say Enzo, so now I have to think of someone else, you cunt. Women's, yeah, they had a match. That was fucking terrible. I'm sure. Whatever.
You were pooping. How would you know?
Sounded terrible from the bathroom. That might have been Michael Cole's fault, though.
Someone want to do him in the chat here says, if Smack Talk ever falls on April 1st, you should do at least the first segment as Smart Talk moment in your smart voices. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Smart Talk moment, where we're going to talk about Tyler Black. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if April 1st is on a Wednesday next year.
Maybe we'll just fuck you all over and let Drew host the show.
Hey, guys.
It's taking me a half an hour to get to the intro.
It's too close to the intro guy.
Guys, are we doing a post show tonight? I didn't know there was a pay-per-view. I only got to see the main event.
I've only known about it for weeks.
Jimmy Johns. Peyton, what's your high point, low point?
My high point is absolutely the main event. Kick-ass match. I'm putting it in there as a match of the year contender with so many that we've already had. It's been an insane year for good matches. So who knows what we're going to get in the second half, or maybe the second half is totally going to suck because we used up our quota. My low point, I can't believe you guys are shitting so much on the Divas match. That was a pretty good match with a fun ending. Without a doubt, the low point for me of the night outside of the Enzo thing is the fact that Ryback lost again to fucking Kalisto.
Yeah, it's definitely not a high point.
Mm-hmm.
Read a couple things in the chat here. Guest 5 says, high point, Owens versus Zayn. Low point, Brett Silent Doom, high point, Zayn and KO spilling into the IC match. Low point, Enzo. Quote of the night, Cancer had Zach. Wago 2016.
I don't think I said that. Nah, that doesn't sound like me. Get out of here.
Norlang says the high point was a tie between AJ Roman and the way Stephanie looked. Yeah, that definitely was a high point. And another person, AP Styles bringing out Ride Burial continues. Peter Paganini, high point, new Roku, no buffering. He always has those issues with the network. Hopefully that changes up a little bit. My high point has to be the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn match. I thought that they ended up pulling out that really well, especially given the circumstances that they were into, having to follow up that injury. And my low point, I got to continue on with the Bret thing, man. Just like, that was just sad. I used to love Bret Hart. He was one of my 3 favorites. And I would have rather him not even be a part of this. Just, sit at home, if that's how you're going to do it.
So let's look at all of Shawn Michaels' appearances and Bret's appearances. And, oh, look, Shawn's still better than Bret.
Yeah, Shawn comes out this year. He got in better shape. He's got ring gear. He does, some wrestling stuff. Bret Hart's just kind of like, I don't even want to take my glasses off.
Yeah, the fans' reaction. Oh, man, I want Shawn to wrestle again. Oh, man, I hope Bret goes away.
So that is it then, I guess, for our pay-per-view post-show for WWE Payback 2016. Make sure you guys all leave your comments below. If you're listening to this on YouTube, like this video, give it that thumbs up button, share it around on social media as well. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all that other kind of stuff. I'm going to go around here one more time, give some plugs to everybody. So, Peyton, what do you want to plug?
If you enjoy us talking wrestling, join us every single Monday night once Raw goes off the air on this very same station, megapowersradio.com, for the most interactive post-Raw experience available. You'll be able to chat just like you are here and leave us voicemails and tweet to us, all that fun stuff. And find me playing games on Twitch at MRPADEN. That's Mr. Payton almost every night of the week. Currently playing American Truck Simulator with my cool wheel. So if you want to see me driving across the desert, yeah, that doesn't sound enticing. I don't know what doesn't.
Plus, you only have one cool wheel, right?
Well, how many wheels do I need?
However many is on that truck.
I guess that would be 18, huh?
Yeah. But that one left wheel. Fucking sweet. Wago plugs.
My name is Stephen Wago. And you can follow me at Stephen Wago.
Oh, your plugs were all in caps. Well, then it would have been like, my name's Stephen Wago.
My name's Stephen Wago, and you can follow me on Twitch and on the Twitter and on the Facebook by going to Stephen Wago. It's spelled with PH, not a P, because that's fucking stupid. Wago spelled W-A-G-O. Shawn, why are you retired, you fucking knob?
Calin?
Well, if you're not too upset about Tom Pestock losing to Nick Nemeth tonight, you can follow me at Calin Ferris on Twitter.
Tom Pestock is his
Really
name?
his name?
Yeah.
What a fucking loser.
Oh, man, no wonder he lost.
Yeah, right.
They're like, it's Baron Corbin versus... Wait, Tom Pestock is your name. Oh, well, fuck, we gotta change the end of that match. Really, guys? You're gonna make fun of my last name? Goddamn right we are, Pestock.
Tom. Fucking lame.
And from my side of things, everybody keep checking. Smack Talk is coming a little bit later on this week. We're going to be doing... actually, you know what? We haven't said exactly what we're going to do yet. So if you have any suggestions of what you would like to see us do for the main event, we're going to take in those into consideration. And who knows what we're going to end up doing. But that'll be coming up Wednesday night, Thursday morning, if you're checking that out afterward. And we've got that 2016 Sexiest Superstars tournament. So go ahead. Cast those votes for the qualifying round. We're going to talk about the results for that this weekend and go on for the rest of the next couple of rounds and figure out who is the hottest man and woman in WWE right now. And that's it then for this episode. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.